Hello, darlings. Today I have a vlogcast for you. I really love this format whenever I want to give you a little bit more concrete information, like this list that I'm going to share with you today. It is an extensive list, but I think you're going to find it really, really helpful, especially this time of year. So I'm sharing my process of how I set intentions and consciously manifest in harmony with the seasons. My hope is that you'll find it helpful and inspiring. Spring Equinox is coming up on March 20th. Day and night will be at equal duration, and this is the astrological new year, so not the normal calendar new year. The equinoxes and the solstices have been celebrated as 4 very significant days all over the world throughout time. They perfectly illustrate the cosmic clockwork and our connection on this planet with the sun. So on March 20th, a new year begins. The days are increasingly getting longer and warmer, and it's finally time to plant seeds. March 20th is also a very special day for us since it's our son's birthday, so we naturally do a lot of celebration on this day and the days around. But we also do a lot of spiritual work prior, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. The spring equinox is the most ideal time of the year to set intentions. The reason is that not only will you feel much more energized, especially if you live up here in the north like we do, and up until now the sun and the warmth has been so limited. It's a magical and euphoric time in Copenhagen this time of year. Everybody's coming out of their cocoon. All of a sudden, life just feels more comfortable. Instead of shielding our bodies from the cold weather, turning our faces downwards to avoid the wind and the snow, all of a sudden we look up and we rediscover one another, and we fall in love, we become curious, we're motivated. Life feels new again. Another reason why this is the best time of year to set intentions is because all of nature agrees with you. Whether it is your house plant or in the park or the forest or your garden or the animals, the momentum of potential is so strong this time of year. So it's definitely time to sow your seeds, literally and figuratively, and set intentions for the year. What are you in the mood for? What would be the best case scenario for you now? And perhaps you're the type of person that prefers setting intentions instead of goals. For me, intentions are much more soft and mutable, and what I'm looking for with intentions is much more about a feeling rather than a result. Intentions to me are more all-inclusive and take into account all of the factors that I want to come together. So for example, if I'm thinking about an intention I have regarding fitness, it's not just a number on a scale. It's more about looking forward to the workout, enjoying the workout, feeling good physically afterwards, wearing a cool outfit, listening to music that energizes me, taking a nice long shower after, and eating a delicious meal, for example. So all of these components that I want to come together for me. Because for me, creating that stream of joy and pleasure is the goal. I've also found that for me, this approach delivers so much more results anyways, even though my focus isn't on the actual result. Goals usually feel like a burden to me. With the things that I want in life, there's rarely a straight line anyways to where I want to go. And that's great for someone like me because I love the adventure and I love exploring the uncharted territory of this human life experience. Personally, I would not recommend doing a 5-year goal setting plan or a 10-year goal setting plan and specify the steps that you need to take in order to get there. And I hope you know that I'm not saying this to make you give up on your desires. Not at all. What I'm actually saying is to give up on the resistance. It really is much more efficient and enjoyable and satisfying to get out of the way and let your desires manifest naturally. When you're keeping score, what most people do is that they're blocking the realization of that thing that they want because they are reminding themselves of where they are now and not of what they are becoming. The way I'm seeing it is that I'm already automatically sorting what I like and what I don't like throughout the day. So I know what I prefer. I'm already setting quote unquote goals right there. What I'm doing instead is that I'm tuning myself to the frequency where I'm open to receive. Then I receive a new idea, an impulse, an opportunity shows itself. Sometimes the delivery is so fast that it blows my socks off, and that's the really fun part too. So at this time of year, I do an entire inventory, and I have 12 steps that I go through, and I'm going to share them with you today because you're going to find them very helpful. Number 1 is about yourself. I start with everything about the human suit that I'm traveling in. My style, fashion, you name it. The characteristics of the way that I look. Does it match my inner understanding of how I see myself now, or is there anything I want to change? I also look at areas of my human body I have neglected or given too much attention to. I'm not looking for perfection here, I'm just looking for areas where I feel in the mood to improve. Like I said in the beginning, it's not about setting goals, it's about the intention, the feeling. If something feels bad to you, then don't do it. It is completely okay just to chill out and be happy, absolutely. In this process, I'm of course very aware of the negative and positive self-talk that pops up about my looks, for example. If negative self-talk is an issue for you, try to imagine that you are talking to your best friend or your child. That usually inspires a lot more compassion. So one of the things on my intentions list is to buy secondhand clothes and only buy secondhand clothes. You already know this about me, but I absolutely love it. There's absolutely no resistance in this concept for me. I find it so cool, creative, abundant, exhilarating. It's like a fun game for me. I also love taking care of my skin, especially when I can find these little secret natural hacks that are inexpensive and organic, like coconut oil or castor oil, aloe vera, homemade scrubs, things like that. I've really started to love working out too. And not only do I feel the physical benefits of my body being healthy and getting stronger, I've also found that it really helps me mentally if I'm angry or frustrated about something. So it's definitely also a habit that I intend to continue this year. The second step is about money. It's about tidying up my economy. That could mean paying off debt or canceling subscriptions that I don't want or need anymore. But it can also be finding new avenues of income and figuring out what fun things I want to spend my money on. So, what it really is that I'm making inventory of what is valuable to me now and set an intention to honor that. This actually changes a lot for us as a family from year to year. Before we became parents, our number one priority was traveling. But in more recent years, the most valuable thing to prioritize for us has been taking time off from work. Being debt free is also way more enjoyable than it may sound. And certainly, there was also a time in my life when luxury handbags was the number one priority for me. This year will probably be mostly focused on social events and spiritual gatherings, celebration and festivals, and those kinds of things. Number 3 is the local community. The local community is the people nearest to you that you see daily or weekly. The intention I'm setting here is to support more local businesses. It is to be involved in sports clubs and showing up to local events. Another really great way to get involved with your local community is to do volunteer work. I did that for a few years and I loved it. and now I don't have as much time to do that. But also something like arranging a community-run event in your neighborhood, like a social neighbor gathering in your courtyard if you live in an apartment building. That is definitely something that we want to host this spring. Your local community can also be your extended family or any groups or clubs that you're a member of, like, for example, a women's group or a foraging club, or groups where you gather around a cause or a hobby. Number 4 is home, and this is your personal space where you go to recharge. As you know, we have lots of spiritual practices connected with our home. For example, every equinox and every solstice, we hang a new wreath on the front door to symbolize the cyclical nature of the seasons. Our home is sacred to us. Lots of crystals, of course, and lots of natural materials. We have a few renovations coming up this year and refreshing projects, mainly in the kitchen and bathroom, but hopefully also some new sofas. So that's all things that are coming on my list. Decluttering is actually one of my favorite activities this time of year, so that's definitely one of my top priorities right now too. Number 5 is children. This could literally be about your children if you have children, but it could also be about reconnecting with your own childish side. So, for example, setting an intention to play more, create music or art. It's about the hobbies you have just for fun. I personally have a lot of hobbies like painting and gardening, where I really feel like a child when I'm doing it. I have no desire to make my hobbies into businesses. They are just fun activities that I enjoy. And I think those activities are much more important than society tells us that they are. So it's definitely an intention and a priority of mine to honor these more childlike activities in my life. Number 6 is daily life routines. This is our jobs, but it's also so much more than that. It's the overall lifestyle, our health habits, our diets. I've just now realized that I haven't shared a lot here on the channel about this, but this is actually an area of my life that I'm very interested in particular when it comes to diet. Getting enough nutrients through food, eating organic and plant-based, having a regular workout schedule, taking supplements if I need it. One of my new routines that I started this year is drinking about a tablespoon of organic apple cider vinegar every morning and night. I found that it really improves my skin and it decreases bloatedness. And one really unexpected effect was that because of its anti-inflammatory properties, my nose doesn't get stuffy at night. So I definitely recommend trying out this organic apple cider vinegar thing that's all over the internet. I feel like it's worked really well for me. But if I should recommend one thing, it's actually to get a blood test at your doctor's office that tells you if you are in need of any nutrients. So I've eaten vegetarian for over 20 years now, and it has been really helpful for me to keep track of what my body needs. And I really wish that more people would do that, vegetarian or not. This year, it's definitely an intention of mine to eat primarily vegan. It's not always that it is an option for me, for example, if I'm out, but I want to get better at being proactive at home and always have a vegan snack and a quick meal available for me. Diet is, of course, very individual, and my body just happens to thrive on vegan food more than anything else. So I'm not going to give any health tips on that. I'm just gonna tell you about my experiences. Number 7 is relationships, and this could be your romantic partner, but basically it could be anyone that you are in a partnership with, so it could also be a business partner. Since Andreas and I, we've been together for 23 years, there's a lot that I feel like I could say about how to build and sustain a good relationship. And I think one of the main ingredients that I most often see couples missing is basic friendship. You have to genuinely This sounds so simple, but you have to genuinely enjoy the company of your partner. You want to hang out, you are interested in similar things, and you do things that you both enjoy that are not romantic. Because there will be times when there is no time for romance. Maybe when someone's career takes off, maybe it's when you have kids, or if one of you guys gets sick. That's life. That happens to most of us. And in those cases, there has to be more than just attraction and superficial gestures to sustain the relationship. Then I also see couples that just don't give each other enough space. So the ideal relationship is that it facilitates opportunities and not limitations. One of the biggest lies that we have collectively been told is that a good relationship is about compromises. That literally couldn't be further from the truth. Also, nagging, that should just be banned altogether. If you have something to say, have a conversation. Otherwise, you should stay in your own lane. So I could I could talk about this all day, but the last intention should always be to be as authentic and honest as you possibly can. So if this is a life area that concerns you, and I know it is to many people, it might also be a good idea to either for you alone or with your partner to get counseling or coaching this year too. But of course, only if you feel like it's the kind of assistance you want and you need. My intention for my marriage is actually just to have more fun together. Now our son is at an age where Andreas and I can do more grown-up activities alone, so I'm really looking forward to that. Number 8 is mental health. Just like physical health, mental health is an important aspect of life to consider. Again, counseling and coaching can be a great option, just like you might have a personal trainer for your workouts or go to fitness classes. But it could also just be practices that take care of your mental health daily, like meditation, gratitude journaling, and self love practices. It could be prioritizing the things in life that really make you happy and set up daily routines that you look forward to. Like with any subject, this could be the year when you have a breakthrough in something that has been compromising your mental surplus. One of my intentions to boost my mental health this year is to take cold showers 3 times per week. So, starting with a normal warm shower and then finishing with a couple of minutes of ice cold water. Here in the north, winter bathing in ice water has been a beloved activity for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And in more recent years, it has been linked to increased dopamine and endorphins in the brain. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out that practice. Number 9 is higher learning. I call it higher learning, and what I really mean by that is education in the broadest form. So, not just going to school. This focus is about expanding intellectually and philosophically. So, it could also be traveling, it could be learning from foreign cultures, reading books, attending seminars in subjects that you enjoy going deep into. I love this area of life, and this is really where I feel home. However, I specifically want to get better at reading more books and switching off from my phone and spending more time reading. So that's an intention that I'm setting in this life area. Number 10 is ambition. This life area is about your place in the world and how you contribute and show up in society with your unique gifts and talents. It is the things that you are offering that are in high demand for others. So it's not necessarily what you love to do the most, but it is what you're good at doing. Some of the things that I take into consideration here too is if there are any areas of my job where I want to make more long lasting plans for the future, or if I want to set up an infrastructure that better facilitates the direction that I'm moving in related to my work. This is definitely one of the life areas that's going to be a theme for me this year too. So let's see how that goes. Number 11 is global community. And this is all about giving and sharing and contributing to the collective future with all that you have to offer. Are there places that you can take the role of the humanitarian and the visionary? Is there a way that you can contribute to the global society and the collective consciousness, showing up with your authentic self, with your gifts and your talents? Nowadays, that of course largely relates to the internet and social media. So this is, for example, me doing these videos and vlogcasts, which I love doing and that I'm definitely going to continue. Regarding this theme, I think about how I can best serve the collective by showing up consistently with content that is actually useful for others. Number 12 is spiritual health. Spiritual health is unfortunately a topic that hasn't been discussed that broadly. However, I think that it might be the most important topic on this list. Spiritual health is the everlasting opportunity for all of us to transcend and evolve into something greater than what we are. It's how we restore balance, it's how we connect with our higher self when nobody's around. So for me, it's crystals, it's meditation, it's communing with nature. It could be taking a walk in the woods, it could be watching the sunrise, gazing at the stars, you name it. So this area sometimes feels so simple that it becomes easy to ignore. So it's important for someone like me to schedule it and to consciously make it a priority in my life. Isolation is actually a big part of spiritual health because when you are alone with yourself, you give space to the more subtle parts of existence. By consciously quieting the mind, we allow spirit to be expressed in everything that we do. So all of what I'm listing now is in itself a spiritual practice. Spiritual health can also be developing your own spiritual practice or counseling with a clairvoyant healer, hypnotherapy, even something like tarot cards and astrology, wherever you feel the most plugged in and connected. So these are the 12 themes, 12 life areas that pretty much covers everything. As I go through this list, I feel out where I observe a natural gravitation in myself, what I'm in the mood for, and then I choose about 3 or 4 main areas that I feel motivated to work on more than the others. I actually also look at my astrological chart to see where the outer, more slow-moving planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, but also Pluto and the North Node will be during the year. I find that that is really helpful for me, but again, that's very individual. Finally, I pick out the crystals that to me resonate with my intentions for the year. I'm focusing mainly on crystals that I'm going to wear as jewelry throughout the year. So for me, that would be necklaces and earrings, or I'm focusing on raw crystals that I can carry with me in my purse. 2 crystals that I definitely already know that I'm going to continue working with this year is my Herkimer diamond necklace and my black obsidian that I carry with me in my bag. So that's pretty much the process. You can of course skip the astrological step if that's not your thing, but the good thing about having crystals that remind you of your intentions is that they are very physical and very present in your daily life. And that has most definitely been the most concrete, practical tool that I have in my spiritual toolbox. The last thing that I'm probably gonna do this year is to make a pretty little vision board to have as the background on my computer. So I don't have much experience with vision boards. Maybe you guys do and you can tell me about it. I did one last year at the Spring Equinox last year, and so far 8 out of 15 intentions have manifested. So I honestly don't really know what to make of that. But of course, a lot of lucky, wonderful, magical things that I didn't put on the vision board haven't. I think the problem with vision boards might be that they can become a little bit limiting. I know they're very, very popular, so that's why I'm mentioning them because, of course, I wanted to try this out. But I think I prefer letting the magic unfold on its own. Like I talked about in the beginning, whenever something starts to feel like a goal, it quickly loses its appeal. For me, at least, it does. So, for example, this ended up being a much more social year than I had anticipated, and it was actually exactly what I needed. Had I been focused on what was on my vision board, I would have completely missed out on the blessings that were flowing effortlessly into my life. So, I think that's possibly one of the downsides of making a vision board, whereas crystals, they're a little bit more ambiguous. Well, anyways, I'm gonna try to make a new vision board again and see what happens just for fun. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed hearing about my process and how I prepare for spring equinox and for the year. This really is what I consider to be the real new year. I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely much more motivated in the spring than I am at the calendar new year. So let me know in the comments if you found this helpful and inspiring. And I want to say thank you so much for listening to this vlogcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and share and subscribe. It helps me to know what you guys want me to talk about, and it also helps others to find this content if that is what they're looking for. And I want to wish you the most amazing day with so much love to you and to yours.